Hey everybody, welcome to the Hunter Base podcast. What do Maverick Hunters do when they're not hunting Mavericks? Go back to base, recharge, and shoot the shit. I'm your host of the most, Zeromaster, and today I have a special guest, a musician, twink, fan of Fire Emblem. Ezekiel Nigma's here with me. So, can you just explain to everybody what you do? I already know what you do, but I want people to understand what you do.
Well, it's a little bit complicated because it's like I'm a solo musician, and then I also do two like band projects. One called Grimleal, that's like Fire Emblem themed. Another called Godessfall, it's inspired by Nikkei. And then I also work as a freelance video game music composer as well.
What games have you done? If you can say.
I would. Well, currently the only ones that are released, although due to some internal like drama and stuff I'm not going to get into, they're no longer in these games. But Axial Disc 1 and Disc 2.
Okay, cool. I have to keep that in mind. I didn't realize you were a game composer because I'm going to be working on like a game.
Oh yeah.
We may have to collaborate on that too.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like I'm already also working or helping with the soundtrack for War of the Yokai or Chrono Angel.
Yeah.
Riko's rebranding.
I always forget the new name. She just called it War of the Yokai for so long that I was just like, and that's in my head. So eventually I'll get the new name of it. But so I'm more familiar with the Godessfall stuff, especially the newest album. Oh yeah, I've listened to it. By the way, we're at Anime North 2024. That's when we're filming this. And had a lot of traffic coming in, and I needed something to listen to. And you know, the hour plus of music that you had, I was like, I'm gonna listen to this finally, because I listened to it, but I wasn't like paying attention because it was background noise when I was working on stuff. But now I'm like, I'm driving, I can focus on the music a little more, and I listen to it. It's pretty damn good. Yeah, I gotta say, if you like metal stuff, of course, and people who listen to this podcast know that I love metal. Yeah, like especially some of the subgenres. Did you see the video I sent you about the guy? Oh no, not yet. Oh god, it's funny. But I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what crabcore is like. Yeah, so. yeah, the Nick Nocturnal one. Yeah, he has a whole bunch of those like in that format, and like they're so fucking spot on. It's unreal. Oh, there's another guy who does every type of metal screaming. I can't think of his name right now. He also has a band called that's specifically a pop punk reference. I can't think of the name right now. I'll probably put it in text here on the screen when I friggin' remember it.
Is it Jared Dines?
It might be Jared, yeah.
Yeah, because then he also does like different every kind of metal riff or whatever, things like that too.
Yeah. My favorite video of his is Metal Screaming in Public.
Oh,
he finds people who like are amazing. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I guess like we both share an interest in music. Yeah. Specifically metal. I grew up with pop punk and punk rock. And,
same here.
And that's sort of how I got my start being a musician. And so that's where it comes from. And then I just gradually went into metal. I knew about the classics like Metallica and stuff like that. But I've always I grew up around the scene kids. Oh, okay. So like I was very much into like that kind of hardcore at the time, or metalcore, or whatever genre there is. There's a million genres. Yeah. So was it a similar thing for you? Like, did you you said that you started with punk, but did you what gradually made you go over to like stuff that's a little harder?
So it was kind of a similar thing. Like I listened to a lot of like punk and pop punk, but then I knew about the classics too, so like Metallica, Black Sabbath, and all that. Honestly, I don't really know. I guess just curiosity, wanting to expand my horizons, kind of. Because I can really blame video games for this to an extent. Yeah. So like games like let me think. Need for Speed Most Wanted.
My god!
Yeah, had a lot of great songs in there. What else? Guitar Hero is another one too.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for me.
Yeah, also
the Pro Skater series. Well, I was already in on it because they had a lot of great punk rock, but they also had good hip hop, R&B, and metal stuff that I'd never seen. So that game series was like my gateway drug to harder stuff. I gotta say. So because there's not like super like hard metal, but then they have stuff like Motorhead, like stuff like that you wouldn't normally think to hear for like skate music. But that's what's great about those games. They're open it to whatever genres they can get. So I guess what I should ask is, you've already made quite a bit of music. Is there anything you want to make that you haven't made yet?
There is actually quite a bit. Some stuff that I've been considering that I'm like thinking about, still coming up with ideas for. So like agrotech EBM kind of shit. So like Cyclone 9, Suicide Commando, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was like thinking maybe put a little bit of a metal twist on it.
Yeah.
Because Cyclone 9 already kind of does that. And then there's a buddy of mine who also does something similar with a thing for the project called Project Technophage. And with that one, I would say, so whereas Cyclone 9 is more in like a sort of black metal-ish influence, like industrial metal, like agrotech and all that, my buddy with Technophage, he actually puts more of like a metalcore spin to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because he said he was like doing like something similar to like early Motionless in White, but like a little more harder, I guess.
Okay.
A little more emphasis on like the industrial and agrotech and all that, because there really isn't really anything like that out there.
Because I've listened to a little bit of everything. When I was in high school, I had the stoner kids who were metalheads who were into like, they were into industrial stuff like Cradle of Filth, and they liked other stuff like I can't think of the band right now. Songs of Ember to Inferno. I'm trying to think of it.
Oh, Trivium.
Yeah. Trivium. They also like stuff like Deftones and Tool and stuff. So I got introduced to all that through those guys. Yeah. But then I also had the punk rock friends who were into stuff like the Misfits and Anti-Flag and just a whole bunch of other stuff from that. So I got lucky in high school. I had a smorgasbord of music to get, because before high school, I think my favorite band was Blink-182, and I still love them. They're a great band, but I've gone on to different stuff. In fact, like this, I don't know if this would surprise you, but my favorite band's Dance Gavin Dance.
Oh yeah,
I like the Swancore stuff, because I really like when people ask me like, really, that's your favorite band? I say, well, I really like the guitar playing. I like the instrumentation mixed with. John Mess is just one of the best like semi-clean screamers out there. Oh yeah. So like where I can actually understand what he's saying. Like, nothing against anything else, but like he's just really like perfected that. And then of course like their clean vocalists, they've changed. Controversially, they've changed it enough times that it's different all the time. But that's another thing too. Like they have different eras of their music, but it's all them. They just change up stuff a little bit more to how they play it. And I've always like respected somebody like Will Swan, their guitar player, because of how technical he can make something, and it still sounds like he could make an R&B song with just shredding. And it would sound so good. So that and they named the whole genre Swancore after him, because that's the type of music that he makes. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I would recommend the band Thank You Scientist.
Thank You Scientist. Oh yeah, check that out then.
Because the best way to describe it is like big band with like prog rock, prog metal.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And it sounds really cool. Like, and then the vocals, I would say, like, it's kind of similar. Like I like anyone, like I have some friends who are also into like Swancore and stuff, and this is like the band I recommend to them too, because it's like a similar kind of vibe, and I think you'll like it, because it's also like.
What's it again?
Thank You Scientist.
Thank You Scientist. Okay, I'm gonna have to. If I don't remember that, it's on tape now, so so I'll have it. But
to further answer the question of like other styles of music, other ones that I've been like considering on like getting into and also trying to come up with ideas for is like the sort of like gothic dark wavy stuff. So like I guess say like the stuff that like definitely like is very popular in Germany that came out of there.
Okay.
So like I can't think of the examples off the top of my head. Really, a big one I can think off the top of my head that I just got into was like Dinah something or other. I can't remember it's like a weird.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they have like one of the most well-known songs is "Into My Arms."
That sounds familiar to me. I only recently got into goth music because there's a long time where the meme goth music sucks. You know, like like all the goth kids don't actually listen to the music. Because for a long time, I really did think it sucked, but I found some stuff that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So just takes me back. I'm showing my age here, back in the MySpace days.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's because we've been talking about doing something, and I've been having a hard time explaining what I wanted. But I think the closest thing is when I sent you that Bill Murray stuff. Like, I've been obsessed with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like, the I don't know how, but like the most recent music, they're like combining like metalcore, deathcore, country music, and like pop. I don't know how he does it, but it's it sounds good. I showed my dad. My dad loves country music. He doesn't like anything metal. Maybe like classic stuff, maybe Metallica, but he's not big into that. I showed him one of his songs because he was interested because the guest vocalist on it was a country singer, like an up and coming country, a guy who just posts his stuff on YouTube. Yeah. So my dad knew who he was, and I showed him. He's like, yeah, it's a pretty good song, but you're right, it's kind of heavy for me. Because it still had it still was mixing like country has pretty good like lead samples and stuff like that, and like whatnot, mixing that with like chunky guitar sounds from metal and stuff. So he's like, and I asked him like, would you listen to more of that? He's like, yeah, I could probably get into it. I just don't like the heavy stuff as much. And I'm like, fair enough. So I'm feeling like I might be able to start using Bill Murray as my gateway drug for people who think metal is all just screaming. Yeah. Because, oh man, that bothers me so much. Yeah. It's like some people won't give any music a chance if there's like any semblance of screaming or anything. It just sucks. Have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah, I have. And like, it's really funny too, because it's only like certain parts of it, whereas the majority of it, not really. The majority of it is like, I don't know, like operatic vocals, or like, Bruce Dickinson's really like high falsetto wails and shit like that, It's not really like anything harsh. Really, the harsh is more on like like I said, the death metal and the black metal side of things.
And a question I get asked a lot by people who are non-metal fans is saying, well, if it's so good, why does it have to have the screaming in it? And I didn't have a good answer until recently. I watched a documentary about San Francisco punk rock. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's free on YouTube with ads and stuff. But it's a documentary focused on the upbringing of bands like Rancid and Green Day, and just the punk and hardcore scene from California in the late the 70s and the 80s. And the thing that they say is it's a way. It's sometimes the only way to demonstrate a type of aggression or a type of emotion that can't be said through singing. It doesn't always have to be aggressive. It can it can be emotional or whatnot. So it's
it's just basically like the only way to demonstrate a raw emotion sometimes.
Yeah, and like because like it's just funny. I'm thinking back to the Bill Murray song. The one that I showed my dad's called "Empty Handed." Yeah. There's a part where they cut a sample of Paul Blart announcing the for NASCAR, and it's just like it's the most brutal scream I've heard that man ever make. And I'm like, this man should front a metal band. Like, what is he doing acting? But no, and my dad thought that was the funniest thing ever. He's like, it sounds like your music. I'm like, I mean, the song kind of is my music, but but I knew what he meant. So that's just the one thing that just always bothered me. People just won't give something a chance just because it's got screaming in it. It sucks. But
what's really funny too is like a lot of the techniques share similarities to things like Mongolian throat singing and various other like ethnic forms of like vocalization that are very like guttural and use those kind of similar techniques. Like I know like the Scandinavians have something similar. Like if you've heard of what's it called? I don't know the name off the top of my head.
You'll remember it later, and I'll put it in here.
Yeah, I'll definitely remember it later because I'm gonna look it up again and be like, oh yeah, that's the name. But like basically they do. Well, it's supposed to be like traditional like Scandinavian music from like the Norse times, like I guess medievalish sort of. Well, it's not like a 100% like faithful one-to-one recreation. It's like the closest thing to it, based on like what we know now in like the modern era. but like they're using like traditional instruments, the vocalizations. They're even singing in like Old Norse and things like that, or chanting sometimes, depending on what they're going for.
So it's existed for years. It's just we've modernized it for current music, essentially.
Kind of. It doesn't really follow like the conventions of like modern music.
I guess so, but
because it's more about like the atmosphere and things like that.
Okay.
Because like when you listen to it, it's really good background noise because there's really not a whole lot going on, but there's just enough going on that you can feel it and still notice it. Which is really cool.
I'm gonna have to look more into that because now I'm interested. I do this thing where I like looking at the history of things.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm a bit of a history nerd, but not in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
Like if it's computer history, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But I like to look at my influences and go from there. It becomes a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm gonna have to look more into.
Yeah.
Just going back to Godessfall for a second.
Yeah.
You mentioned that to me just in passing that like you submitted that for something for the actual Nikkei game, right? Is it that one or is it
hold on? I can explain that a little better.
Okay.
So basically it was last November during that time because they have an anniversary event because the game released in November. So before that they had like a creators contest. So this would just consist of like fan art, videos. I think cosplay was another category, and there's something else that I'm probably forgetting. But that was like generally the different categories. So I submitted in the video category because it's like, well, that's like the closest thing. And then so it was the lyric video for the song "Only I Have Survived."
Okay.
And like it was a really well edited video because it's like it was kind of like this sort of AMV-ish style with the visuals, but then there's also the lyrics like on the screen as they happen.
Yeah,
and it looks really cool because like I took bits of like the promotional videos that they had, and then also like some of my own gameplay that I recorded, that like go along with it, and it went together so well. So and then it actually ended up being in the winning category. It was like top 50 or something like that.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And then what did they give you? You said you became like a VIP or something?
So then about like a few months, like earlier in the spring, they'd opened up a creator program. Okay. So then what I did was I applied for that and I got approved for it. And then they have like little things where it's like, oh yeah, submit stuff. Because I guess that's the avenue they're going with that now for like submitting for contest things and whatnot. And then they did do a what was it called? They did a first event to kind of like commemorate like the opening of that. And so for that one, I submitted another lyric video, which was for the song "Unlimited in Wonderland." And again, it was a similar approach that I took, where it was like sort of AMV style with the visuals, going on, and then also the lyrics on screen as they're happening.
Cool. What was I? There's another question I had. It's starting to leave my head. I'm trying to get it back so I can ask it proper. So it's not just the stuff, the Nikkei inspired stuff. You said you did like Fire Emblem music as well.
Yeah, that would be through Grimleal.
And have you has that ever been? Does anybody from like Nintendo ever notice that or?
Not that I know of. But let's be real. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They would probably try to claim copyright on it.
I'm sure they would. Yeah, they're not the best with their own fan works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is there any other franchises that you want to make fan music for, or whatnot?
Honestly, I would say the only other things I've considered was I guess something inspired by Fate Grand Order, or more specifically Specific Servants. But then the little thing I would do is I would name each song after their noble phantasm.
Okay.
And then try to find some way to cleverly insert the their speech or whatever into the lyrics, usually as a chorus or something, and then just kind of go from there. But that hasn't really; those ideas haven't really taken off that much because it's just stuff that I I don't know, just on a whim, just thought of. Wrote down but I haven't really touched it that much ever since.
It's funny. It's I but like I finally watched Fate Zero not too long ago, so I kind of understand what you're talking about. I'm just tipping my toe into Fate. There's that remake game that's coming out later this year of the original game. For Switch and for PC. So I'm thinking I might pick that up and dive right into it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because that's probably like one of the best starting points because that's where everything started.
Well, because what I was going to
pretty much just like establishes. Oh yeah, sorry for talking over your.
No, you're good.
Well, I'm just saying, like it pretty much just establishes everything that you would need to know for pretty much everything else.
Mm-hmm. That's because just going back to like GigX Video, just play the visual novel, even though it's got a million endings and can be kind of long, but and that's the reason I haven't gone for it, because the next thing I was going to do is going to watch the original Fate Stay Night anime that came out back in the day, because a friend lent me it, so I've had it sitting there for years. I just haven't watched it. But then I've also heard it's not a great adaptation. It's not, it's not the best. It's dated, things like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, this game's coming out anyways. Why don't I play this?
Yeah.
Like and then decide where I want to go from there, because Fate's one of those franchises. There's just so much stuff. It can be overwhelming. So, but like my roommate, one of his close friends, is huge into Fate, and so he's like, we should watch some of the movies. I'm like, I don't know yet. So what I might do is just, honestly, when something becomes available, just watch it, and if I'm confused, I'll just ask my partner Karama, because she's the one who knows she knows Fate lore stuff. So.
Yeah. Honestly, with the movies, it's like they're very much made for like fans who know what's going on or know what's up.
Or aren't some of them like based on storylines in Fate Go, like the game or something like that?
Yeah, there were some like anime adaptations of like specific chapters in the Fate Grand Order.
That's another thing. Like, I'm just like, I play Honkai Star Rail already. I'm just like, do I need to start another game?
Honestly, as someone who plays it, I would not recommend playing it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun, and we'll see what happens when I get more into it. But maybe.
Because, like, the worst thing about it is the gacha rates. The gacha rates are so fucking bad. Like, it's notorious for that. Like, to the point where, like, people who play the game, like, rather religiously even, like, will, dunk on the game for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a whole meme, pretty much.
Yeah, it's... And you know what? I think I'm kind of spoiled, because Honkai Star Rail does a pretty good job of giving you stuff. So you don't have to spend money. Yeah. Like, you can spend money, but they don't make it easy for you to find where to spend it.
Yeah.
And I saw two Robin cosplayers from the recent banner. I pulled Robin in my first 10 pull when she was on the banner. Like stuff like that. Like, I was like, that doesn't happen that often.
Okay. So you'll probably like Nikkei as well, because it's actually quite similar. They're pretty generous with like the free shit they give you. And then in anniversary events, they just like basically give you so many fucking 10 pulls. It's unreal.
Well, and I had a friend who, I didn't know anything about Nikkei. She just opened up her game and screen shared and went through all the characters. And I'm like, oh, I like that one. Oh, that one seems neat. And I've heard the story is like really, really cool.
Yeah.
Too. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the story wasn't good, I wouldn't have ended up starting Godessfall as a result. Right?
That's fair, yeah. And
because the amount of lore that is in there is fucking deep, and then there's like a lot of cool and interesting stuff going on with the story. So it's like, of course, I had to start writing music, kind of touching on that, because
like I've been considering getting playing Nikkei for a while, but I guess in my head I'm just waiting for them to sponsor me like they did with Star Rail. But I haven't been offered one yet, so I'm like, do I keep waiting or do I just play the game? I kind of wanted to for the thing for Bishojo, but then you told me what it was, and I was like, that sounds kind of lame.
Yeah, it's just like a collaboration in terms of like, streamers play the game and promote it. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I thought you could get some of them in the game, like in Smite. Like, because I hadn't played Smite in a long time, and I considered replaying it so I could get Iron Mouse. Like, I considered that, but it's like, put them in the game. That's all. Put these shoujo girls in the game. That's all I'm asking. They got the assets. You don't got to worry about that.
I mean, they're popular enough worldwide that like it could warrant it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess there's like a lot of internal optics and stuff probably have to go through that they maybe didn't want to bother with.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, I've always been interested in the game because I see gameplay and I'm like, I like rail shooters, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing that would like probably like upset me is if like I get like if I get paywalled. but I don't think I don't think that's happening.
That doesn't happen.
Because Raid Shadow Legends, I was sponsored by them, and they burned me with that.
Oh.
Like, I got to a certain point where it's like, you can grind for a really long time, or you can spend some money. And they even offered, like, an extra incentive for spending money on stream.
Wow.
And I don't care. I'm never going to do them again, but...
Yeah.
Like,
I would say Nikkei's attitude is more like, you can spend money if you want.
Yeah.
And then there are certain things that, like, it's really, like, a matter of, you could if you want, if you really give a shit. Because, like, really, the only things that they really incentivize on spending money on is, like, alternate skins for characters. Mm-hmm. So that's through, like, the mission passes.
Yeah, I
know. Just, like, season pass things.
My friend Pixelated Owl, she has some of the Christmas ones, and I was like, oh, those are nice looking.
Yeah. And, like, those aren't hard to get. It's really just, like, doing daily tasks or whatever that it tells you. And that's not hard to rack up if you actually, like, dedicate yourself to it.
Yeah. Like, literally, like, right now in Honkai Star Rail, I'm saving up for the next banner, because the next banner is basically a Kamen Rider reference. How much I like Kamen Rider.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the robot armor guy Sam on the one girl, what's her name? I can't think of it right now. Firefly, that's her name.
Okay.
So that's the next banner. And so I already got Robin. So I'm like, I don't need to spend any more of my, like, gems on this. I can just save them up.
Yeah.
And like, you get like 100 plus a day in the game.
Wow.
So it's like, you just do the daily. That's all it is. Like, or the weeklies even. So it's like, they just throw the stuff at you, and basically, I've never spent a dime on the game because I've never had to. I've considered it once or twice, but I'm like, I'll just, wait till, because they always recall the banners. So
yeah, like, literally the only thing I've spent money on in Nikkei is quite literally just, like, some alt skins for characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just a matter of, like, because I just asked myself, like, a few questions. It's, do I like this character that it belongs to? Do I like the outfit, as well? Do I give a shit about both of these things enough to go, yeah, I could drop like $20 on this, because I will see myself, getting mileage out of it, and that's really it.
And the only time I've spent money on those kind of games is I spend a little bit on Overwatch because I wanted skins, and I spent a little bit on Pokemon Go so I could get more Pokeballs. That's it. And it was a very minimal amount. Like, I'm not like a whale or anything.
Yeah.
I think maybe in total I spent $100 on those kind of transactions in total, just between the two games. So I'm not somebody who does that. So when the game encourages you to just open it up every day and do it, of course, I've probably got thousands of hours now in Honkai Star Rail, but like, I don't care as long as I don't have to spend the money for it.
Yeah, that's really pretty much what Nikkei does too. Is more like, as long as you open the game every day and do, like, dailies and stuff like that.
They must be making money somehow, like, off that, because there's no advertisements in these games. So, like, they must be making money somehow off of people not spending money.
Honestly, it's probably just from whales, the skins and stuff.
Could be.
And then also a costume gacha, which was somewhat controversial because when it was first introduced, people were kind of mad about it. But, like, at the very least, at least it's like after a certain amount of rolls, you're guaranteed to get it.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like goes on forever until you get it. It's basically just, once you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, here it is. You've spent enough. Like,
I heard Chico's bad for that. Like, it's bad for, like, you could spend tons of money and not get the thing you want.
Yeah, but in this case, it's like, once you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, you spent enough. Here it is. Chill.
Yeah. So,
which is like, so it's not all bad. It's like, I personally don't agree with it either. Because it's like, I mean, I get it because this is like a skin where they, like, change the burst animation, has new voice lines. So in that sense, like, okay, so this money that you're giving them is obviously going to be going to the animators and program stuff, because they have to work extra time to do all that shit.
Yeah,
and then that's also going to the voice actors because they got to record new line stuff and get paid for that. So it's like, on that sense, like, okay, I can understand. So, like, you know what, I'm not gonna, like, turn my nose over at it or whatever, because it's like, at least, I know that the money is going somewhere. I'm not going to pull on those because, I neither can afford to, and most of the time it's like, you know what, whatever, right? Like, but
And so before we wrap it up, we do have some things we're gonna go to still for the convention.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you: is there anything you're working on right now that you want to talk about, or tease maybe? Or?
Okay. First, I have to ask: when do you expect this episode to come out?
Probably within a week or two.
Okay, so literally the only thing I'm working on right now is going to be out this week. Okay. So there's no point in me, or like as of this recording, there's no point in me discussing that because by the time this comes out, people already know what's up.
Well, why don't you advertise what it is? You've got the floor.
Yeah, I guess because it is somewhat important. So, I recorded a cover of a song by the industrial band GGFH.
Okay.
Called "Dead Men Don't Fear," and
that's a song.
Yeah,
that's a song name. Jeez.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like so because it's May and there's it's like Sexual Assault Awareness Month and everything. Mm-hmm. And like as someone who's been a victim of it, and and loved ones who have also been survivors of it, I should say. This song hits very close to home for me, not only just because of that, but also because of there's this sort of like revenge aspect to the lyric, okay. Or like vigilantism to it. Like you'll see it when I post it, and so I'll be completely honest here. Like my vocal delivery, especially in that second verse where that revenge vigilantism kind of thing goes on, you'll notice that like my voice starts to get a little bit sadistic. Like I'm enjoying it way too much, which to be honest, I was, but I mean, you have to understand. Like, you can really hear the pain in my voice because I was pretty raw with it. And then
I'm interested now. I can't wait to hear this.
And like with this one, I actually took I mentioned them before. Like I took a bit of a Cyclone 9 approach, where like I had the aggro tech, industrial metal kind of thing going on. So like that's what I have going on with that. And then but the cool thing about this, what I'm going to be doing with it, is that this is going to be like a charity thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to release it on Bandcamp. It's going to be Name Your Price. Or or not necessarily Name Your Price, but it'll be $1. And then every purchase, every time someone buys that, I will be, taking that money and donating it to the local sexual assault support center.
Which is okay. That's
for
awesome.
The Waterloo region, because that's where I'm based in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then in the page as well, I also have the link to the site as well. So it's maybe if because it's only going to be $1. So maybe if somebody wants to give the charity or that charity more money, then they can just go to the website and do it that way.
Yeah. So not only is it with May being a Sexual Assault Awareness Month, next month is Pride Month.
Yeah.
So it fits with that because a lot of people in LGBTQ unfortunately can relate to sexual assault.
Yeah, and as someone who has recently come out myself, it's
Mm-hmm. So that's something I really appreciate that you're doing for charity and whatnot. So awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to promote? Since you have the floor. If you want to promote something, go for it.
Honestly, I would just say I mean, he's already hyped me up on that. Check out the recent Godessfall album. Check out Grimleal if you're a Fire Emblem fan.
I'll put the YouTube channels and stuff down below, and more people can follow you so that they can find you there.
And then, obviously check out my solo work. I do, original music, sometimes with vocals, sometimes not, kind of all over the place because I just do whatever the fuck I want, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I also will do covers. I do a lot of video game covers, but in recent years, recently, I'm doing more stuff that I like or whatever. So I don't know, random songs by favorite bands or whatever, or I mentioned that I'm putting out a cover by GGFH, which is I wouldn't say obscure, but if you're a connoisseur of industrial music, then that's a name you're going to be familiar with.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And I remember what my one question was. I don't want to take up too much.
Okay, go for it.
The question was, after my panel last night, you'd mentioned the panel idea that you'd want to do in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that just a little bit? And then, unless you want to keep the idea and say, don't take my idea, but I don't know.
Actually, I'll just keep it to myself. I want it to be a surprise.
Okay. So, Anime North 2025.
Yeah.
if you want to see a cool panel by this guy, you're gonna have to come and check it out. So, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up, or?
I want to say something funny, but I don't really have anything off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I'm dead from this convention. I'm surprised I remembered all the stuff that I talked about in this. So, anyways, guys, links will be in the description.
You know what? Since I'm drinking water right now, I'll just say hydrate before you dihydrate. Hail hydrate.
Really? I can't redeem that on YouTube. Anyways, guys, links will be in the description. Check everything out. Thanks for agreeing to be interviewed for this.
Yeah, I mean, I was the one that put out the idea in the first place. So if anything, I was the one like pointing a gun to your head and being like,
"I need ideas.
Interview me.
I need ideas." And I like having different kinds of people. I did my first VTuber guest not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I want to like expand the horizon and stuff.
Yeah.
And also check out LTN. We both are involved with that, so check that out. Links will be in the description. I'll put probably the album in the end cards on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
that's the one, so people can go listen to that as well as your channel.
Yeah, because I do have a video of the full album stream on YouTube.
That's how I listen to it on.
Oh, okay, nice.
Because I don't have any of those streaming services anymore. I don't have Spotify or Apple Music. I just use YouTube now for my music. So
yeah, that works.
It uses the same amount of data as just like playing those services, so it doesn't bother me either way.
And then in terms of content, YouTube would have the most compared to everything else.
Plus, it's free views because even though I'm not looking at it, it's still being played. So.
Yeah, it still counts as a view.
Exactly. So guys, go check that out, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is. Take care, comb your hair, in a rush, use a brush.
I mean, in my case, I always have to use a brush because I got fucking horsehair at this point.
Jeez, like my hair is so thick, like it's like I'm starting to get knots again when I brush my hair.
Yeah, I have to brush it every day or else it will get knotted because, like I said, it's like a horse now. It's literally horsehair at this point.
You have it long enough for headbang.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
I mean, when I get out of the shower, that's literally how I'll dry it. I'll like have it wrapped in a towel for a bit. I'm like, all right, the tips are still kind of wet. Oh, I know. I'm just gonna throw on some metal and just start fucking windmilling and shit. And it works. It actually works. And then if I do have knots that somehow stayed in by me washing it, it actually loosens it because it's already floating.
I don't know if you stream, but if you ever stream, you're gonna have to make the windmill GIF one of your emotes. Like that has to.
Oh yeah.
Because anytime I
mean, one of these days, because I remember I did put out a YouTube short like a while ago where I was just doing a play on the whole name 3 songs, shit. So just this sort of jab at going, just just saying the perfect response to name 3 songs. So I just name 3 songs. How about you name 3 bitches? So I honestly considering maybe I should do another thing of that, just playing on that metalhead specific humor and just being like how metalheads dry their hair after taking a shower and then just do that kind of thing.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be
that'll play to the algorithm. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Because that short got a shit ton of views. I was like, damn, even though it's low key kind of scuff in terms of quality and stuff, but it still gets the point across.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks again, and for the second time, we'll see you next time.